Growing up, I generally always knew the truth about a lot of things. I would say, like in my mid 20s, that's when my gifts really started developing. I had a godmother that was really sick. A couple months after she passed away, I dreamt her. And when she came to me in the dream, she just pretty much was letting me know she's okay, she's watching over me and stuff like that. And it's like, I think that was the point where I really started to become okay with death.
Amani channel. You're watching Seas of Awakening, the show we feature open-minded knowledge seekers who like to share their spiritual adventures with us to help expand your thoughts a little bit, have you look at life just a little bit differently. This week we have a great guest who started off in Catholicism, but quickly realized that her gifts expanded way beyond that. That include helping folks transition at the end of life. We're going to get her thoughts on what she believes happens at death. Do we really die? Do we live forever? What really happens? What happens to the soul? We're going to answer all those questions in just a second. But first, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, do all the things that trigger the algorithm so that others can find this great information. Let's bring our guest in now. Her name is Eileen Lang. Hey there, Eileen. How you doing?
I'm good, Amani. I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. Good to see you.
Likewise, likewise.
So, what does it mean to be a holistic practitioner to start off with?
So, to be a holistic practitioner, it pretty much encompasses life. So, being born, and then also at the end when it comes to dying. So, in my practice, I generally start from using herbs because my background is Caribbean. I'm Caribbean descendant from the island of Grenada. So there are herbs, there's spices, there's food, cooking, there's also diseases and learning how to treat others with disease, treat others using foods and also spirituality when it comes to all of this. So it's, I don't want to say holistic because it's already holistic. So it's everything as a whole. So from life, death, and everything in between.
A large range of realities, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, thinking back to your youth, how were you raised and where are you from?
So I
We already
was,
said you're from Grenada, but
yes, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. The city space area of Brownsville. Yeah. Where else? Well, I traveled a lot growing up. So, I was born and raised in New York. Um, my background, I would say I was born into Catholicism. So, I would go to church every Sunday morning, very early in the morning. Um, what else can I say? I mean,
take communion every Sunday.
oh yeah. I did my first communion. We did that. Confirmation, had to dress up in white and all of this stuff. And, you know, it was it was interesting to say the least.
So we were talking a little bit before the interview. We were talking about how you're a reader and you have all sorts of gifts. When did you start realizing that you were maybe a little bit different, or that you had other spiritual gifts that were outside of Catholicism?
Mm, so growing up, I generally always knew the truth about a lot of things. And when you're growing up, you're technically very naive to a lot of things. You see certain things, you hear certain things, you know certain things, but as a child, you're really not supposed to say certain things. So, when I think I was about maybe 4 or 5, I had a sibling that passed away. And I couldn't understand, like, how come she died? Like, I didn't understand death. And it kind of made me angry because it's not like that was someone that I grew up with. I didn't grow up with them. I didn't know them, but it's just like dying. Like, why do people have to die? And I would ask my parents all the time, like, why do people have to? They couldn't answer me. It's unfortunate that they couldn't answer me. But after that, I would say,
They didn't give you the regular answer because Adam ate the fruit or because Adam and Eve committed the original sin. That wasn't the answer.
no. We're Caribbean, so there was nothing about Adam and Eve. My parents also taught me about kings and queens, like we were kings and queens, and then it's like, okay, so if we were kings and queens, then what happened? How come we're not kings and queens anymore, you know? So then I think I was about 18 when I started realizing I had the ability to see. Um, and it's funny because my mom and my dad had a surprise birthday party for me, but I had already known. And I saw all my friends there and everything. I knew where my cake was. I knew all of the people that were going to show up. And when I told my mom was like, I think somebody told you. I'm like, no, nobody told me. So after my party, I pulled my mom aside and I was like, you know, I really did know that you was going to have a party for me. And she's like, how did you know? I was like, I dreamt it. But being from the Caribbean, when you dream of something, it's like, oh, well, whatever. It's not really a big deal. But that was like a big thing for me. Like, I actually saw my party, I saw so many different things, and it was strange. People, they didn't understand how I knew, but it is what it is. And then I would say, like, in my mid 20s, that's when my gifts really started developing. I had a godmother that was really sick, and I was in school for health and nutrition, my bachelor's. I was getting my bachelor's in health and nutrition. And I had went to my godmother's house and I was talking to my godmother, and I guess she knew in a sense she was going to pass away. So when she did pass away, I think a couple months after she passed away, I dreamt her. And I dreamt her and I just was so distraught because I was like, well, I'm trying to do everything that's right. So like if I'm there to help her and take care of her, then how come she died? You know? Um and when she came to me in the dream, she just pretty much was letting me know she's okay, she's watching over me and stuff like that. And it's like I think that was the point where I really started to become okay with death, even though my dad has always taught me, like, you take care of children, you take care of the elders, you take care of the sick, you pray for them. Like my dad was very, very, very spiritual. So he honed my spirituality within me. So that was like my mid 20s. And then like my early 30s, I'm like aging myself, but in
That's
my
okay.
early 30s, my mom had got really sick and I couldn't understand how she got sick, why she got sick, what was the purpose. So at that time, I had already gotten my bachelor's and I was starting my master's in alternative medicine. So
So by this time, you already had a career change. You already knew that you were going to go into something kind of holistic or something
yes,
like with
yes,
healing.
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. So, what happened? She got really sick. She was in the hospital, and I just decided to remove myself from social media and like just really hone in and meditate and try to understand what was the purpose and how I could serve her. So when that started happening, I helped her change her diet. So I became vegetarian. I allowed her to become vegetarian and my dad to become vegetarian. It helped a little bit, but also at the same time, being Caribbean and wanting to eat the normal foods that you normally eat, it it helped, but also at the same time, it's the mindset. The mindset is what really, I don't know if it helped her, I don't know if it didn't help her, but she saw a change in me and she knew that I wanted to help her change as well. Um so that It was maybe about 3, 4 years, and then everything just changed, and obviously, she's no longer living, so, but, on her deathbed, she thanked me a lot. She thanked me, she gave me her blessings and everything like that, so, I did my part. You can do but so much, and as a healer, you can't help everybody. There's some people that really wanna get the help, but there's others that are just like, 50-50 with it. So you can't force people.
Right.
Mhm.
So outside of your, it seems like you work with helping people sort of transition. Is that kind of what you do in your specialty?
Yes, yes.
So explain, we were talking a little bit before the recording, we're talking a little bit about death and how a lot of folks are fearful of death. What's your understanding about what death is and what happens at death?
Well, I just feel like there's a transition, you just transition from a physical body to a spirit, a complete spirit. Um, when someone is dying, they need a lot of comfort, they need a lot of care. So, you can comfort them. And when I say comfort them, I mean like you can sing songs to them, you can play music, you can just make them feel comfortable. So it's technically their body shutting down. So their feet will get cold, their hands will get cold, they won't be able to respond as like we're having a conversation like me and you. Like they'll just do general things. Like if you speak to them, they'll say or yes, or like you can say certain things like, oh, I love you, and they'll respond back. And then also at the same time, the last thing that goes is their hearing. And this is from experience, right? Like I've helped my mom transition, I've helped my dad transition. So, this is something that I've had firsthand experience on, you know? So yeah, it's just pretty much we just ascend. We ascend, our physical body is no longer, and we just ascend. That's it.
Do you feel like death is something that should be feared? Because we're saying that a lot of folks really fear the transition of leaving the physical body.
I don't think that should be feared, but it's a very taboo topic. It's a very taboo topic. A lot of people don't want to discuss it. A lot of people are uncomfortable with it, but I don't feel like it's something to fear because, yes, a physical body is gone, but at the end of the day, they're still here with us. Like they're still around us. You can channel them, you can speak to them, they can speak to you. There's different messages. You can ask for messages like in the physical world. You can say, for example, okay, well, I would like to know if XYZ, and you can ask for a sign like, oh, show me a red bird, or show me a blue car, show me, and if it comes, it comes. Also through music, it's all frequency. It's all frequency. You can feel it through your body. You can feel it in your ears. You can feel it on your third eye. It's a frequency. You can feel it. Not everybody has that ability though, but yeah.
So when you compare what you're talking about to like traditional religion, like I was raised Jehovah's Witness, so Jehovah's Witnesses don't really believe in life after death. They believe the soul dies when you die, like that's the end of life. How do you kind of balance the way you're speaking right now? Of course, I've grown to understand more about life now, but how do you kind of view the perspectives, or how do you measure what you believe in now versus what traditional Christians or religious people believe in?
Hmm. Okay, so for me, and I have my puppy, my dog. He wants some comfort. So, um, for me, I would say growing up Catholic, in my spiritual practice, if I need assistance, I will call on certain saints. I will
Mhm.
call on God. I will call on, it's for me, I don't feel like there's any separation. Like, right, I don't go to church. I don't, do any of that. But also at the same time, this was embedded in me. It's how I grew up. So my dad taught me a lot. So it's like I have to use what he taught me to manage through life and manage through my practice. So I will also say that it's not only about death. I mean, I'm very well rounded. So I can assist people in many, many, many different ways. Many different ways. So my first degree is in culinary. I cooked professionally for a few years, and then I got tired of that and I wanted to do something else. I got my bachelor's in nutrition, then I got tired of that, and it's, knowledge is infinite and it's endless. So I am the type of person that am always searching for something else because I know I don't know everything. You don't know everything, but I like learning.
So we talked a little bit about the readings you do. Talk about your I guess your astrology, your card reading and all of that. Like how does that fit into what you also do with your gifts?
So it depends on what someone wants to know. A lot of people like love readings. I would do a love reading with cards, or I would pull up their birth chart. I would do so many different things. And it's more so of an integration because I also use my intuition. My intuition is very powerful. So it's more so of an integration. So, say for example, you come to me and you say, "Okay, well, I'm having some challenges in life. I would like to know if you can help me, you know?" So, I would have a discussion with you. I will pick up on whatever I need to pick up on. I would also do like sound therapy. I would do, if you need a vent, I will have a session for that. If you need what else? It's so many different things. It's like I
Mhm.
can't put my hand on one specific thing because I can do so much. And depending on the person and what they need, then that is Onyx. Onyx, come on, what happened? Yeah, so it's all dependent on the person. It's all dependent on the person, and it's all about energy and what I'm able to assist them in with. I can do hypnotherapy. I am certified in clinical and applied hypnotherapy. It's infinite. It's hard to put my hand on one specific thing because every individual is different. And also too, it's like I also have to make sure that I align with them and they align with me.
As you were kind of having the spiritual awakening, did you think at any point that you were going crazy or that you were like a mutant or that
Mm,
how are you sort of putting everything in perspective?
I don't think I was going crazy because I don't know, certain things I just knew,
Mhm.
even though I tried to ask my parents for guidance or, try to ask them certain things and they weren't able to understand or they weren't able to help me. I just knew for sure that what I was feeling, what I was hearing, what I was understanding, I was not tripping. And then also too, it's like sometimes I would get certain messages and then I would have a conversation with my mom or have a conversation with my dad and it would come up. But I wouldn't tell them that I thought about it or it came up. So it's like it's a lot of confirmation. It's different things that I thought of or that I hear or that I feel, it comes up as confirmation. So I don't think that at any point it was, I ever felt like I was going crazy.
Okay.
And I journal a lot. So a lot of the things that I think in my mind or that comes to me, I will write it down.
I wonder if your parents being from the islands has something to do with them being so spiritual because a lot of Americans that I talk to, they're so indoctrinated in the Christian religion, they're kind of anti-spiritual, like, you know, the spiritual gifts, and there's some resistance from other family members. I wonder if your parents being from the islands has something to do with how open they were to spirituality.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's like being connected to water. I mean, I'm a Cancer, but also at the same time, when it comes to astrology, I have a grand water trine. So I'm able to pick up on a lot of things in a lot of hidden houses. That's another topic for another day. But yes, I really feel like because I'm an island girl, I'm able to pick up on a lot.
Mhm.
Um, Maybe it also might have been taboo for them, but also at the same time, the way they grew up, they didn't have doctors. My parents were elders. So they didn't have doctors, they didn't have nurses, they didn't have all of these different things to help them. It's like they had their grandparents, they had their great grandparents, they had whatever they learned from the earth, to help them heal in whatever capacity they needed to help to be healed in.
Which is the original medicine. Like they say, if you don't eat your food as medicine, your medicine becomes, I forget the saying exactly, What do they say? If your food isn't your medicine becomes your food, or something like that.
Treat your food as thy medicine is the food. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, what are you picking up in conversation with me? Are you picking up anything as we're having this conversation right now?
Hmm. More so that, you have a good heart. You want to be able to reach out to a lot of different people in different, capacities. Um, you're very structured and organized. Um, kind of like a perfectionist, but also at the same time, you try not to be perfect because no one's perfect. Um, I can definitely sense that you're a family guy, like you love family, you love, being able to interact with different types of people. And also too, like you really like to learn.
I'll
Hmm.
take that.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
So, what are you doing now? What are you doing now in terms of your craft or helping others?
Um, well, it's a good thing you asked that. So, in this space that I'm in right now, so I recently just lost my dad.
Sorry to
Um,
hear that. Condolences.
thank you. So it's about 6 months. So right now, and I also came back from the Caribbean. I just came back from the Caribbean. So I'm just trying to like meet with a couple friends, trying to find my way back, you know. Um, I am still open for, readings. I'm still open for, different things that people might need. So it's more so me getting my foot back into my practice and being able to help people make more connections. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it.
I feel like we're hitting a point where more people are starting to awaken to some of the spiritual esoteric information.
Yes, I really feel that. But I also feel that it's kind of like 50-50 here, because there's some people that will obviously try to prey on people because it's a lot of chaos happening in the world.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of people that will try to prey on people, but then there's also a lot of people that are actually willing to help people in, whatever capacity that they can help them in.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
So I know you're trying to get your business started, but how do you feel like what's your main gift that you can offer to other individuals? What's the main thing that you'd like to offer to people right now?
The first thing that comes to mind is compassion. I'm laughing because it's so much chaos that's happening in the world right now. And a lot of people can be very fearful. A lot of people can have, a lot of different things going on. So I think the biggest thing for me is extending compassion. Um, and then also being of service in whatever capacity that I can help individuals in because I'm a book. Like I can help so many different people in so many different ways. And I don't want it to sound like I'm a broken record, but I really believe in my craft and I'm also confident that the people that come to me will never be disappointed.
Mm.
Mhm.
Where does that confidence come from?
I would say my experiences, my parents, especially my dad. My dad really brought me up in, a spiritual way for me to, be confident in myself, be confident in my gifts, you know. So yeah, and, honing my gifts and also making sure that whatever I put out into the world, it's also going to come back to me.
Gotcha. All right, so we're almost at the end of our time together, but I do have a couple of questions that I like to ask all my guests.
Mhm.
The first one is, what would be your definition of a spiritual awakening?
Hmm. Uh, so what comes to me is tapping into who you are, tapping into who you are, tapping into your roots, tapping into where you come from, and, understanding that it's not a trend, understanding that there's no right way, there's no wrong way. As long as you feel confident in yourself and in your spirit, then that is spiritual awakening.
Very good. Next question is, what's the most valuable lesson that you've learned in life so far?
Hmm. Trusting my intuition. Definitely trusting my intuition, because my intuition has never led me wrong. If I sense something or I know something, and if it doesn't happen like, the next day, it will eventually come forward, and proving to myself that I'm right.
Do you have any examples that you can rely on or that have happened to you in your past? You can say, wow, that intuition really didn't let me down there.
Huh. This might sound a little crazy, but so my background, my mom's side works with dark magic, and my dad's side works with light magic. So I had an experience where people were working dark magic, and I sensed it, and I told my dad. And I told my dad, I think certain people try to do certain things towards us, and try to hide it. And last July, we had a hurricane on the island of Carriacou, where I was at. And from before that, I told my dad, I said, there's some stuff buried in the yard. And he couldn't understand what I meant. And I said, there's some stuff buried in the yard, and it has to do with, it's our belongings, and it's buried in the yard. And he was like, you know what? I wouldn't put anything past you, because a lot of things that you have said actually came forward. And he died. When he died, the next day after he died, something told me to go dig in the yard. I went and I dug in the yard, and there were teeth in the yard. There were teeth, there were drawers, my mom's drawers, my dad's drawers. And that night I went and I said, I told you. I was telling my dad, I was like, I told you, I told you. And that night I was looking out the window and I saw a shooting star.
Hmm.
I have many more stories, but that one, yes.
Hmm. Wow.
Yes.
All right, the last question is, what would be your advice to someone who's going through a spiritual awakening?
Mm. Be patient with yourself. Try to search for groups, like groups of people that have gone through their awakenings already. Um, Follow your spirit, follow your guide, follow your intuition. If something tells you that this individual is not right in some way, follow it, because it could be right. Um, and pray. Whatever prayer means for that individual, whether if it's meditation, whether if it's sitting in silence, whether if it's walking, whether if it's being in nature, what at the beach, driving, whatever it is that takes you away from the physical world.
Hmm. Great answers, great responses to all those questions. So if someone wants to learn more from you or get a reading, where should they go, Eileen?
So they can actually email me at Eileen, the holistic practitioner, at gmail.com. You can also find me on TikTok at She is Eileen Lang, and also YouTube, She is Eileen Lang, and Instagram, She is Eileen Lang.
Very good. Eileen Lang, I want to thank you so much for spending a few moments with us, for sharing your story and teaching us all about intuition and using your gifts to help others.
Thank you so much, Amani.